I feel silly even writing a post like this, but it really is bothering me. Basically, 10 months ago, I temporarily moved in with my dad, who is elderly and disabled partially, to help caretake for him. My mom passed away 3 years ago, and it is just the three of us now. I've been full-time caretaker for my dad. My sister lives about 20 minutes away and comes over once a week to have brunch. On Christmas, she is staying over for Christmas Eve and Christmas night. Basically, the setup of the house. There is my childhood bedroom, her childhood bedroom, the guest bedroom, and the main bedroom. My dad sleeps in the main bedroom. For the last 10 months, I've been staying in her previous room for when she was a kid. She's 34 now, and I've basically made it my room because my old room has a twin-size bed and is not comfortable. Her old room is a queen bed and is much more comfortable for me, especially because I've been living here for almost a year. Recently, I was having back issues and I bought a new box spring for that bed. Since then, it has been better. Every single time she's ever stayed here in the past, she has always preferred to stay downstairs in the living room on the couch because the TV is in there, and she is comfortable doing that. Once in a blue, she has stayed in her old bedroom prior to me living here, but not any time recently. I told her as a heads up that for Christmas, she is welcome to stay in the living room, or if she wants to stay in the guest room, I can make sure that room is all set for her. She told me that her preference is to stay in her old room. I told her that I'm more comfortable there and have been there for the last year, and that it doesn't make sense if she's only staying 1 or 2 nights to change the sheets and go through all that when she could just sleep somewhere else, especially since that's usually what she has done. She told me that she could do the sheets. I told her that it just doesn't make sense and that I'm more comfortable in that room since I've been living there. That's also where all my things are. She got upset and told me that I should be more accommodating since she is the guest, and that she guesses she will cave since that's what she always does, according to her. I feel uncomfortable. I know it's a small thing and should not be a big deal, but I'm genuinely not comfortable sleeping in a different room, especially because all of my things are in that room, and that's essentially where I've been living, along with having to redo all the sheets. If I told her that my back was giving me trouble recently, she would just think I'm using that as an excuse to stay in that room. I feel silly even writing a post about this, but we have had conflict over small things in the past, so my options are to either basically give up the room and let her stay there because she's clearly upset, or just stand my ground and stay in the room I've been staying in. Mind you, she has never had an issue and genuinely preferred staying downstairs usually. My dad just shared a story about my late Uncle Dale, his lifelong friend and fellow engineer. So in his memory, and in spirit of the upcoming holidays, I present for you the tale of nepotism, engineering students, and Adina Menzel. Uncle Dale was a senior engineer at a small firm in the Midwestern USA and engineering instructor at the local community college. He was also, unofficially, in charge of the office parties. To help offset the costs, he had a small tin box on a table outside of his office with a slot in it so anyone could donate money to the party fund. Everyone knew about it and were happy to donate. A month or so before the company's big Christmas party, Uncle Dale decided to check the box. Lo and behold, it was empty. Uncle Dale knew something was wrong because he had seen several colleagues putting money in the box. This could only mean one thing: someone was stealing from the party fund. At this moment, Brad, the owner's nephew and a fellow engineer, came around the corner. And something about the way Brad was looking at him made Uncle Dale suspicious. Brad didn't have a good reputation around the office, to say the least. He had a reputation of being pushy, obnoxious, rude, and just plain entitled. Unfortunately, he was not only the owner's beloved nephew, but knew how to skirt the rules so he wouldn't get fired. Uncle Dale decided to set a trap to catch the thief. Using his engineering skills, he set up a hidden rig using a hidden doorbell camera right by the box. He then had a colleague loudly brag about how he contributed $100 to the party fund. Then he waited. He got a notification that the camera was recording, and watched Brad open the empty box, scowl in disgust, and throw the box against the wall. Now you'd think this would end with Uncle Dale presenting the video evidence to his boss to get Brad fired, but oh no. As I mentioned in a previous post, if there's one thing engineers love, it's solving problems. And if it's engineering students, they'll make it an experience to remember. Uncle Dale then went to his engineering students. He offered them extra credit to come up with a rigged box that would make noise when opened. The more obnoxious the sound, the higher the bonus. 1 week later, they delivered their project and demonstrated how it worked. Pleased with the results, Uncle Dale awarded them extra credit as promised. The next day, he set up the rigged box and proclaimed, "Well, isn't this nice? Someone donated $50 to the party fund." Then he went to his office and waited. The engineering students had rigged the box with one of those inserts from cards that play music when you open them. By popular vote, they had picked Let It Go from the Disney movie Frozen. Right around the time the song was beginning to become unpopular. They also managed to ensure that once opened, the box couldn't close unless you pressed a hidden side button releasing the hinge. So the song would continue to play. For extra funsies, they made sure to angle the insert for maximum volume and secured it down with industrial-strength glue. Sure enough, everyone in the office heard Idina Menzel belting the hated song and Brad's frustrated grunts while trying to close the box. One of those attracted by the sound was Brad's uncle. Finally, Brad chucked the box at the wall, managing to put a good-sized dent in it. The uncle then summoned Brad to his office. 15 minutes later, Brad left with a cardboard box and cleared out his desk. Along with a note in his file, "Do not rehire. Do not recommend." So his engineering career was over. That Christmas, Uncle Dale had a little video prepared to show at the party. The doorbell camera had caught Brad's attempt to steal from the box. All to the tune of Let It Go. I was on my way back to my home when I heard some guys talking about the moment they realized they are not little kids anymore. I didn't listen to all their conversation, but that phrase stayed in my head for a while and made me ask myself about the moment I realized I wasn't a little kid anymore. The answer: when I was 16, after my mother whipped me with a belt from the back and I didn't fall to the ground in pain. I have lots of stories like this, but this one has stayed with me over the years. I remember at that age my daily routine was 2:30 arrive home from school, 2:30, 4:30 change clothes, eat chores and homework 5, 06, 0 training, and the rest of the day I used it on all the remaining things. That day, I remember arriving home and finding my mother screaming at my brother. He was 14, and at that age, he had a talent to get in trouble and mess with people. Teachers, classmates, everyone. One of my mother's ways to raise us was that if one of us did something wrong, both would be corrected. She justified it saying it was a preventive method to dissuade the other one from doing that thing. To this day, I can only think about it as being grounded without doing anything. That day, the moment I arrived, she started to tell me too, accusing me of being lazy, useless, the usual ones. I took it, as I was used to, and proceeded to do my routine. I did some of my homework until it was time to go to my training, but the moment my mother saw me getting ready, she started berating me about how both of us, yes, every time she scolded one of us, she would talk in plural, were useless, disgusting pigs, that we didn't have any love to our home, because if we have any, we would be cleaning it until it was perfect. I still don't know where that obsession about cleaning comes from, that it was our fault the house was disgusting and that I will not go anywhere until the house was clean. She wanted me to clean all the furniture on her way. Her way was cleaning it with a wet rag, then doing it again with a dry rag, then again with wood oil, and then again with another dry rag, 4 times each one. I told her I would have enough time to do that I would do it later, and that it wasn't urgent because I cleaned the furniture yesterday. Son of a witch, don't dare to talk back to me. I'm your mother, and if I give an order, you don't question, you do it. That was her answer. I put her original words, as I don't know how to properly translate it. I remember that moment as one of the first times I stood up against her because I chose to go to my training instead of wasting my day on a useless chore. Well, she didn't like it. When I returned, she started again with screams, name-calling, and threats. I told her that I would do it at that moment, but somehow that made her even more angry, saying I should have done it the instant she ordered it. No, when I wanted to do it. She kept berating me for about 30 minutes. When I made the mistake of breathing too hard, which she took as a sign of disrespect, don't dare to roll your eyes and stop making fucking faces or I slap you back to normal. I was done at that point, so I told her to do what she wants. Her face went red and run to her room and came back a couple seconds later with my father's belt on her hand. My first reaction was of fear. All my childhood, I knew that the moment she grabbed the belt, she would hit me until she got tired, no matter how much I cried or screamed. But after the first hit, I was really surprised I was on the floor rolling for the pain. It didn't hurt. And for some reason, I got so angry. I was so tired of that situation that when she tried to hit me again, I grabbed the belt and didn't let it go. She started screaming like crazy, ordering me to let it go. But I didn't. She tried to pull it, but I grabbed it with everything I had. Her face was a mix of desperation, anger, and impotence. She kept telling me that she was my mother, that I had to obey her, and when that didn't work, she started screaming that I was hurting her. I was hurting my own mother. Meanwhile, she started to dig her nails on my hand and arms. Hit me with her fists. She was so desperate that she even bit my fingers to make me let go of the belt. But I didn't. With all that noise, my father finally showed, asking what was happening. Stupidly, I believed she would behave with my father there, so I let go of the belt and started to explain everything to him. While I was showing him the nails' teeth marks, when behind me, I heard an "ah." She whipped me with the belt on my back. My brother told me that after that, I glared at my mother in a way he had ever seen me do. I only know that she didn't try it again. The consequences, I was grounded for 2 months. My father didn't do anything, he got on her side. Even if she was wrong, she is your mother and you must respect and obey her. That was the answer. The good side is, that was the last time she ever physically hurt me. Both of us realized that afternoon that I wasn't a little kid anymore. She was losing power, losing control. Also, that was the moment I realized I wanted to get away from her. So 24, a slam poet, traveling around and making a living performing self-written poems and short stories. I was actually on my way to an event I myself organized when this happened. When people go on our stage, they get free water backstage and 2 drinks at the bar if they want. That's why I was at the supermarket, getting water and going to the register when I saw that a brand I prefer was on sale and cheaper than the one I was carrying. So I went back, loaded off the water I was carrying when an older woman, early 60s I would guess, approached me. Showing me her shopping list, she asked for a specific brand of butter. Me. I think it might be there, but don't take my word for it. I don't work here. She was really confused. But you wear a uniform? She said. I then turned to her completely because sure, I was wearing all black, but at a second glance I was dressed way too formally. No name tag, no supermarket logo, but instead a shirt and tie. The woman laughed and joked about her poor eyesight and really needing glasses. Then she asked me where I was going dressed so sharp. I told her the name of a bar as it's pretty well known in my town, explained what I do for a living and that I was just getting water for an event. It ended on a pretty good note. A week afterwards, though, I was at the bar for another event, and the barkeep told me that an older lady came in a few days ago and told them all about our interaction at the supermarket whilst drinking a few beers with a friend. The barkeep was told to say hi to me and that she was getting glasses now. Kinda made my night a little sweeter.